Alright, so this was our participation prize for month 6. It's the Federation Peregrine attack fighters. And we'll get right into them. We have a look at our attack squadron reference card. Explains how they work. Same one that came with the other ships. They have a limited range 2. They cannot be equipped with upgrades or captain cards. And as they take damage, their stats change. No matter how much damage they take, they only lose 1 token. They ignore criticals. And these ones have shields. Each time you reveal a new token, you return your shield. And on the back is an explanation of resources, that you can only have 1. The dial's pretty nice. They're very maneuverable. They have a 2 come about and a 3 come about, I believe it is. Nope, a 1 and a 2. I don't think there's a red maneuver on the entire dial. That's kind of neat. I think they used the same stock photo with the Peregrine fighters for everything, but there's your maneuvers. You can see all the type maneuvers are green. Everything else is white, including the 2 white come abouts. Very nice. There's our Peregrine Federation attack fighters. They're unique, which is kind of funny because they are a resource, which means you can only have 1 anyway. Federation faction. Stat line is blank because they're similar to the Cardassian Hideki fighters. No upgrades, 20 points. You have evade and target lock. And when you initiate attack at range 1, you can re-roll 1 of your attack dice. And the reason their stat line is blank, like the other fighters, they come with these little tokens here. And you start off with this one. They have a little bit less firepower than the other fighters, but they gain a shield. So what it means is you got to hit them at least 2 hits per time. Once to knock out the shield, once to take a hull, and then no matter how much more you hit them after that, it doesn't matter, and you take one of these away. And then they get the shield back for the second one. And you have to hit them at least twice, once to take the shield, once to take the hull, and that goes away. And you keep doing that until you get to the last one. When you remove the last one, they blow up. And they're labeled on the back which fighter squadron they go to, so you don't get them mixed up with the other ones. Yeah, offensive-wise, they're a little bit less than the Cardassian fighters, but defensive-wise, they're much better, and they have a little bit more maneuverability, as they should. You have your little Federation icon for the captain jet, because the captain's skill keeps changing. We have our shield token, the basic maneuvers, target lock II, and our extra peg there. For the ships themselves, you really can't tell into this lighting. There's quite a bit of detail. They could use a wash most definitely. There you go. Now you can see a little bit more of that detail. Then we have our base for the attack fighters. The attack and agility are left blank because they change depending on if you've taken damage. And it has a flip side, but it's the exact same thing since there is no generic version. All in all, I think they're a pretty good addition to the Federation. Kind of disappointed in the fact that they're a resource, so you can only have 1. I understand why they did it. I mentioned it in the other fighter video. A squad of 5 of these would be unstoppable in a 100-point game. You could always make up your own scenarios and include multiples or whatever you want to do. Would I take this over a Federation flagship? That's debatable. Probably in a fun game, not in a tournament setting, I don't think. Saw a couple of people bring these to the Hideki ones to month 6, and they got I don't know, they absorb a lot of fire, but they didn't seem to do much. But definitely for fun home games, I can see their usefulness. These are a lot more maneuverable, so they may end up being better in the end too. A 20.5 attack ship you really can't go wrong with. That takes at least 4 hits to kill. Anyway, that's it for the Federation fighters. As with all the other months, the top player in each faction got to take home the map elements. Kind of a disappointment this month, as the only map element was the giant DS9 token, which we already had from month 1. It's the exact same one. It's got DS9 on this side. And just a generic NOR class station on the other side. This month it didn't even come with the cards. I'm not sure if they just didn't give them to us or it didn't have them, but in month 1 we actually got the corresponding cards listing all the upgrades and everything for the station. And just in case you haven't seen it or don't have an OP near you, to give you an idea of scale, it's about twice the size of the base that's on the actual DS9 model, which I think is kind of weird. The base on that only comes out to about here, and then this much is extra, and then these have little squares that come out on the end, so the pylons actually line up with the real model that they gave out as the grand prize, but the actual station itself, the outer edge lines up with the outer edge of the ring, not the actual edge of the base. It's kind of weird.
The winner for month 6 got to take home the LE Akorim. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. It was a Bajoran scout ship. Of course, I went 3-0 for the event, but managed to lose on overall points because in one of my games somebody blew up the station. So I had actually lost by exactly 20 points, which was the cost of that station. So while I took a second, I didn't get the prize ship, so I'm going to have to track one down. We called it the Cheese Wedge of Doom. Comes with some interesting cards. I may, if I manage to get my hands on it, I may do a overview of it like I do with all the ships, but gonna post up the list of the cards here so you can at least take a look at them. The Kieran Reese Captain's card is kind of nice. It is Bajoran faction, so you're gonna have to pay extra for it on the Federation, unlike the older one that came with the Defiant. She does have an action though that gives you friendly ships within range 1 to 2 of your ship by free target lock, which is kind of nice. We have Lee Nallis, who's a unique card. He can be used to protect the crewmen from being disabled or discarded. There's I Am Khan Ma, which is an action that can be used to disable an upgrade of your choice on a target ship. Nice thing on that one, it's an elite upgrade, but it can only be used for a Bajoran captain, so pretty much only Kara can have it. But it's reusable, unlike a lot of those cards like that are only single use. So very nice there. There's another elite talent called Blockade, which for an action gives a friendly ship within range 1, including your own ship, which is nice, a +1 attack, +1 defense for the turn. And the crewman Day Kanu, who can be discarded during the action phase to perform a free action on your bar. That one's pretty cool. The ship itself is what you'd expect from a scout ship. 2 attack, 2 agility, 3 hull, 2 shield. Its ability is each time you defend, if there's a evasion token beside your ship, you may re-roll all of your defense dice once. You must keep the second roll. It's 18 points, has 2 crew slots, and gives you evade, target lock, scan, and battle stationed actions. Not a bad little ship for 18 points. That time you get target lock HH, and it looks to be a little maneuverable ship. It's got a lot of tight maneuvers in there. I don't see any red on the dial. There's a 4 straight, so it's pretty fast, and has a 2 white come about, which is nice. So this month marks the end of the Dominion War event. It's been 6 months long, 6 different scenarios, and unfortunately for me, losing this last month by the 20 points I lost it by also moved me into 2nd place overall, so I ended up taking 2nd in the entire Dominion War event, which means I didn't get to take home the awesome DS9. Not as disappointed as I could have been once I realized as sweet of a model as it is, and just, I mean, to have it on your desk is pretty cool, but it doesn't come with anything. No cards, no tokens, nothing. So that was kind of a disappointment. Not that I still wouldn't mind having one. I may pick one up if the price on them comes down enough. For now, I've got my K7 station I can use for scenarios, so I'm not too worried about that. The station model itself is really cool looking. The base is quite a bit smaller than the token that we've been using. The token that you got from month 1 and 6 actually is the size of the outer ring, where the actual model itself has its own base, which sets in well inside of the outer ring. It makes it play a little bit different because you can get a lot closer to the station before ramming it becomes an issue. But at the same time, you have to get closer to the station to attack it, so it kind of all evens out in the end. For those of you who didn't get to compete in the Dominion War or might not have had an OP event near you, if the price on this does stay high, you can always try to track down. Playmates made a toy a couple years back, I think it was in the 90s, and it's almost identical in size. The base to it's a little bit different because it has its own base to stand on, but very close to scale and size, and it has these cool little lights and makes sounds of some of the effects like torpedoes firing. The downside to those is they become a collector's item, so if you find one new in a box, it's going to be ridiculously expensive. Hopefully you can find one that's been opened and played with, and you can get them for a decent price. I've seen them for as low as about $50, $60, which right now the actual DS9 from Attack Wing is selling for around $200. So it's up to you if it's something you're interested in. I might wait a year or so and see if they don't release DS9 as a purchasable item for maybe $100 or so. I can see that happening. Definitely keep an eye out for that, and I'll see you in the next video.